had a very powerful bite that was well adapted for not just killing but also removing the flesh from the bones. So in a sense, what we see here with Diatryma, and I would imagine that the animals of its day viewed it in much the same way, was Diatryma was in many respects sort of a mini T-Rex.
This reconstruction is based on the evidence gathered from the fossils. There were 4 species of this giant bird. They lived in forests and grasslands, but because of their weight, they were flightless. They could probably run as fast as humans today. But at this time, mammals were still mostly small and weren't able to move swiftly. The ancestor of the modern horse would not have stood a chance. Once dead, the flesh would have been ripped from the body by the giant and powerful beak. Little wonder that many of the small mammals still kept to the trees. These giant birds ruled from Europe to North America. They were also on other continents in the southern hemisphere. Everywhere except Asia. Here there are no fossil birds, only mammals. The giant birds ruled their domain for another 15 or 20 million years. Their end came as a result of 2 things: a dramatic change in the climate and from conflict. "60 million years ago, there was a long and narrow sea which stretched between Asia and Europe, separating the 2 continents. At the other end, Asia was connected to North America by a land bridge located far north and under permanent ice. Nothing could cross in or out of Asia. So in Asia, mammals began to diversify, safe from the threat of the gigantic birds. And among the mammals was a predator, smaller than the birds, but with distinct advantages, as Dr. Chris Beard knows.
The hyenodontids were an amazing group of predatory mammals. There were really 2 main things that distinguished the hyenodontids from any other kinds of predatory mammals that were alive at this time. The first was that the hyenodontids had 3 sets of teeth on the upper and the lower jaws that were used to cut through flesh. The other thing that set hyenodontids apart for their time was that they were very fast runners. The other predatory mammals that were alive at the time of hyenodontids were slow, ponderous animals that were not fast runners. Some of them could climb and were arboreal, but none of them were quick runners.
The smooth round joints and sockets show that this creature was able to run fast and hunt down its prey. There would come a time when the mammal predators would come face to face with Diatryma, and there would only be one victim. But first, the ice bridge had to go. And it did. Once again, the climate shifted. Ice had melted and the land bridge was open. A confrontation was inevitable. It was just a matter of time. It was the mammals who made the journey to North America.
We can imagine that hyenodontids, because they were fast runners, must have been the first pursuit predators. They must have been very wolf-like in the way that they hunted. They probably ran around in packs and chased down their prey. That not only allowed them to capture their prey, but it also allowed them to capture larger prey.
So when hyenadontines finally did migrate into the West, into North America and into Europe, it really signaled a change. And in a sense, mammals had been sort of suppressed even during the age of dinosaurs. But even when dinosaurs became extinct, it was still another 15 or maybe even 20 million years before we can really say that the age of mammals began.
The forests of the night were still dangerous places, but now mammal hunted mammal. Our ancestors, the primates, clung to the trees for shelter. But the evolutionary road was inevitably leading to the species which would rise to dominate the world. The eyesight of the primates evolved to be sharp. Their brain grew to be intelligent. They came to walk on two legs and to finally rule the miracle planet.